Now, as I told you yesterday that this angle here is 60 plus 60, which is 120. Okay. Now this angle is subtended by this arc at the center. 120 degree is the angle subtended by this arc AB at the center. And APB is the angle subtended by the same arc on the remaining part of the circle, right? So therefore, I can say that this angle here, APB, is half of angle AOB, which is 60 degrees, right? So let's write it down. Angle APB is equal to half of angle AOB. Angle AOB above we have found out to be 160 degree. So this is 80. So angle APB is 80 degree. Okay. Oh, sorry, 60. This is, we have found this to be 120, not 160. Half of 120. This cancels. So this is 60 degree. And we'll give our reason. Angle subtended by an arc at the center is double the angle, subtended by it on the remaining part of the circle. Okay, that completes this problem. Fine. That was also the first two parts were a demonstration of of the theorem that I had mentioned, the three results that I had mentioned. And the third part of this sum was, you may consider it a revision of angle properties. That is, APB is equal to half of AOB. Let us now come to what we mean by two circles touching each other. We know how a line and a circle touch. When does a line and a circle touch? When a line is a tangent to the circle. That is, when the line intersects the circle at only one point, then we say that it is a tangent. Now, how will two circles touch each other? I have said two circles here. If you see these two circles touch each other. Now, what do we mean by touching each other? Touching each other means they will intersect only at one point. They will not intersect at 2 points. They will not intersect in this manner. They will not intersect in this manner. Okay. Out here, we have 2 points of intersection. Okay. Out here, if you see, we have 2 points of intersection, A and B. These two circles are called intersecting circles because there are two distinct points of intersection, A and B. These two circles are called touching circles because they intersect at only one point. Okay. So that is the difference. Now there can be two cases. Either two circles can touch each other internally or two circles can touch each other externally. Now what do we mean by two circles touching each other externally and internally? The externally case I have already shown you. If you see two circles are touching each other externally here. Okay. Now what do you mean by two circles touching each other internally? This. If you see this, this is the case where, let us call the centers A and B, this point P, A, B, and this point here, the circles touch each other, called P. So this here, in this case, we say that the circles touch each other externally. Okay, circles touch each other externally. And here, circles touch each other internally. Okay. If you see out here in the first figure, when the circles are touching each other externally, these two circles are outside each other, and therefore we have a point of intersection here, or point of touching here, or point of contact here. Okay. And out here, one circle is inside the other, and we have a point of contact here, P. Okay. So P is called the point of contact of the touching circles, whether internally or externally. Okay. So that is what we mean. We need to know. Also, there is one more definition which is called the common tangent of two touching circles. Okay. Common tangent of two touching circles. Now, if you see, P is the point of contact. If from P, if I draw a line passing through P, if I draw a line passing through P, then this line is called the common tangent of the two circles. So for circles touching each other externally, I've shown you a common tangent. And for circles that touch each other internally, you can have this kind of a tangent. You can have this kind of a tangent, although my tangent is not too precise, yet you can have this kind of a tangent. Say this kind. It passes through, this tangent passes through the point P. So therefore, this is also called the common tangent of the two touching circles. Okay, so whether they touch each other internally or externally, through the point of contact of the two circles, if there's a line passing through, then we call that the common tangent of the two circles. Next, we have discussed common tangent of two circles touching each other. But common tangent of two circles that do not touch each other also exist. These will be of two kinds. First is the direct common tangent, and the other will be the transverse common tangent. Okay. So tangents to circles not touching each other. Not intersecting each other or touching each other. If I have two isolated circles that do not touch or intersect each other, if I have these two circles, then I can have two tangents, two common tangents to the circles. First common tangent will be in this manner. We can draw one tangent. The other tangent we can draw in this manner. These two are common tangents. So if you see, if two circles touch each other, we can draw only one common tangent. But if two circles do not touch each other, then we can draw two common tangents to the circles. So if you have, if I call this straight line L, and if I call this straight line M, L and M are called direct common tangents. They are, so common tangents are of two types for non-intersecting circles. These are called the direct common tangents. Okay. Another type of tangent that is possible for intersecting circles is called a transverse common tangent. This way. Yes. This tangent is called a transverse common tangent. Okay. And there can be another transverse common tangent. This is another transverse common tangent. So if I call this line L, M, L and M are called transverse common tangents. Okay. So summarizing the concept of common tangents, first is if two circles touch each other, if two circles touch each other externally, you can have one common tangent. If even if two circles touch each other internally, you can have a common tangent, a single common tangent. If, however, the circles don't touch each other, that is, they are non-intersecting circles, neither intersect nor touch each other, in fact, then you will have two kinds of common tangents. One is the direct one is the direct common tangents, the way it is shown here, and this is the transverse common tangent. These are the various possibilities. You can find out the length of these tangents. I think I have done a sum based on this, which I'll be discussing when I'll be discussing the sums on exercise. Okay. So for the time being, an important theorem that we'd like to discuss here, that this theorem, that if two circles touch each other, then the point of contact must lie on the line joining the centers of the two circles. Understood? Or if I rephrase it, the theorem states that if two circles touch each other, then the centers of the two circles and the point of contact of the circle lie on the same straight line. So let us consider two circles. What the theorem means is, if you have two circles, say that touch each other externally, say with centers A and B. So given two circles with centers A and B, also what is given to you is the point of contact, say P, where P touch each other. Let's say two circles A and B touching each other. At the point of contact, at the point of contact P. These two circles touch each other at P, and they have centers A and B. Then what can I conclude? My conclusion is that A, P, and B must lie on the same straight line. Or you can say A, P, and B are collinear, must lie on the same straight line. Okay, that means if I draw a line from A joining B, then this straight line must pass through P. Okay, that is what it means. This is for external, the two circles touching each other externally. Let us see when two circles touch each other internally. Then what happens? Two circles touching each other internally. Two centers are given to you, A, B, and a point of contact P is given to you here. And again, from the same theorem, I can say that all these three will lie on the same straight line. Okay, all these three will lie on the same straight line, A, P, and B. Okay, that is what the theorem means. Now, from this, we deduce two things. There are two deductions from this. Deduction number one: for circles touching each other externally. Okay. Now, suppose if consider the first diagram here. If I say that R1 is the radius of this circle and R2 is the radius of this circle, that means this length is R1 and this length is R2. If these two are the radii of the two circles, then I can say that the distance between the centers AB must be equal to sum of the radii. Very important result. Distance between the centers AB must be equal to sum of the radii R1 plus R2. That is, you can write for two circles touching each other externally. Remember, externally. This is only for externally. AB is equal to R1 plus R2. Deduction number two. For circles touching each other internally. Look at the second diagram now. Suppose I take the radius of the bigger circle to be R1. Then this entire length here is R1. I take the radius of the smaller circle to be R2. Then this length is R2. And this now becomes your distance between the centers AB. In this case, I can say distance between the centers AB is equal to R1 minus R2 or R2 minus R1. If you take R2 as the bigger radii, you can make it R2 minus R1 also. From this diagram, I can say it is R1 minus R2. So that is why we say that the distance between the centers AB is equal to difference of the radii, which is in this case we have R1 minus R2. Okay, so that we write AB is equal to R1 minus R2. Okay, two very important reductions. We shall see one sum to demonstrate this theorem. Okay, this is an example here. We shall see how we apply this theorem. If you see in this diagram, you have three circles drawn, out of which two pairs intersect each other. The third pair don't intersect. Okay, this is the kind of diagram that has been given. These three circles have centers P, this center is R, and this center is Q. Okay, and these are joined. Right? This diagram is given to you. Now let us read the statement. P and Q are centers of the circles of radii 9 centimeter and 2 centimeter. So P and Q are centers, and the radius of this circle is this radius is 9 centimeter, and this radius is 2 centimeters. So this length is 9 centimeter, this length is also 9 centimeters, and this length is also 2 centimeters. Fine. Next is PQ is equal to 17 centimeters. That means this length here, PQ, is given to be 17 centimeters. R is the center of the circle of radius x centimeter. So if you see, R is the center of this circle and its radius is given to be x centimeters. So this is x and this is also x, which touches the above circles externally. So circle with center R touches the circle with center P, and it also touches the center with circle Q. Given that PRQ is equal to 90 degree, that is this angle here is 90 degree. Write an equation in x and solve it. That is, you have to find out x. Okay, that is the question. Now, this is a very easy question, bearing in mind that if I can see that if I call this point as this is one point of contact for me of the two circles, say I call this point M. This is another point of contact for me, call this point N. So here, what are the lengths? If you see here, PM is equal to 9 centimeter, right? And MR, first of all, we'll say that before writing all this, we'll say that P, M, and R lie on the same straight line. Lie on the same straight line. Also, R, N, and Q lie on the same straight line. Okay, and why is this? Why is it that PMR and R and Q lie on the same straight line? Because if two circles touch each other externally, then the point of contact and their centers lie on the same straight line. If two circles touch each other, then their centers and the point of contact lie on the same straight line. Okay, now we shall write down the length. First length we need to write is PM. PM is 9 centimeters. Let me write here itself so that you know. PM here is 9 centimeters. Okay. MR here is X centimeters. Okay. RN is X centimeters. NQ is 2 centimeters. And PQ is given to be 17 centimeters. These are the lengths that I know. Now see what is the length of PR. Therefore, PR is 9 centimeter plus X. That means PR is X plus 9. And what is the length of the side RQ? The length of the side RQ is X plus 2 centimeters. Okay. And PQ is given to be 17 centimeters. And these are the three sides. These three are the sides. That is PQ, PR, and RQ are the sides of a right angle triangle, right? Whose hypotenuse is PQ. So therefore they are related by Pythagoras theorem, right? And therefore from Pythagoras theorem, we shall form an equation in X. And then we shall solve that equation in order to find out the value of X. As I have done in the note, I shall solve this equation, is this problem next week. Monday, I think you have tomorrow is the class. So tomorrow I'll finish this and